actually in training right now. So he is nocturnal, and he is just learning to come out in front of classrooms. So if he's nocturnal, is he sleeping or awake during this time?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. So for me, I have to find what is the most positively reinforcing for him. Do you guys think sometimes you would rather sleep than eat?
Yeah.
Some of you might. I know that I might. I might skip breakfast sometimes if I'm going to be late for work. I'd rather get those extra 15 minutes of sleep. So we're going to take him out, talk a little bit about him, and see if he'll hang out with us. This is a kinkajou. And what I'm trying to get him to do right now is I'm trying to start his little metabolism. So I'm trying to start his motor going. I want him to eat instead of sleep. If he comes back out for you guys, you can see him stretching his tail. I would like him to be able to eat, and it looks like he is not going to eat for you guys. So to tell you guys a little bit about him, they might kind of look like lemurs or monkeys, but they're more closely related to raccoons. So they have this long prehensile tail that they use to be able to grasp onto things like tree branches. They spend a lot of time in the treetops. So if they spend a lot of time in the treetops, what do you guys think I have here to make him super comfortable in front of people?
Leaves.
A tree, that's right. So I've given him this tree cavity to be able to hang out in, to be in front of large groups of people. I also have a lot of his food. So he has bananas, figs, and a little bit of mango. They are generally fruit eaters, so they like to eat a lot of fruit, but they'll sometimes eat small mammals or even insects. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually see if he will come out, give him a big reward for that, see if he wants to eat it. He is choosing not to. Let's try a banana. And he is choosing not to eat the banana either. So in this situation, although I might try to see if he wants to just taste it by getting it on the tip of his tongue, he is not going to choose to eat it, but you guys can still get a really nice view of him. So I'm going to put him in his log all the way and take him around so that you guys can see a better up-close view of what he looks like in a tree cavity. So this is one of the main tenets of positive reinforcement. Do I make him do anything? No. So I don't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. Instead, I try to set up a way for you guys to be able to see him if he doesn't perform his behavior. You guys can see him in there. He's just kind of snuggled up. He is going to make a little home in his tree cavity and probably go to sleep. So you will be able to see him as he comes up to go back into his crate. But what do you guys think? So you've seen it. What are some of the problems with working with nocturnal animals? They're tired. They're asleep during the day. They might not want to work during the day. So you have to do the best that you can with the situation that you're given to be able to entice them to come out. And if you can't entice them to come out, you still want to be able to share them with an audience so you can share them in this particular way. So the one thing about his log that never happens is we never take him out of his log. Why wouldn't I pull him out of his log? Because he likes it, because it's a safe spot. If you guys had a panic room that everybody could access whenever they wanted, do you guys think it would be safe?
No.
No, you probably wouldn't run in there during a zombie apocalypse because you know it's not completely safe. So it's the same kind of idea with our kinkajou. He always has the choice to come out of his log and go into his crate. We never take him out or force him to go anywhere. So sorry you guys didn't get to see him for very long, but you did get to see him up close, which was good. And that allows me to introduce something else that I was doing during the presentation with the kinkajou. Did anybody hear me make a sound?
Oh, that click. My dog comes to that.
Ah, the click. Excellent. So do you know what this is called? This little thing right here? A clicker. Excellent. So in the training industry, what we call this is a bridge. So a bridge is essentially anything that you pair with food. So this sound means one thing, and that one thing is food. The way that you introduce it to an animal is by going food, food, food. So after they hear this sound, what do they associate it with?
Food.
Food, exactly. Why do we need that? Why do you need a bridge?
Because you can replace it with something else. Like your food, you can replace it with
You can replace the food with something else? Okay.
It'll come up, because they'll eventually, once it hears the click, that's the first thing that'll hear, so they'll come out anyway.
Ah.
Before you wait.
So the click is the bridge. The cue is what we use to get them to come out. So if we cue them and they come out correctly, and we bridge when they come out, you're on the. I like the way you guys are thinking. So let's say think of it this way. Let's say you guys are all dolphin trainers. Yeah, awesome. And you are trying to get your dolphin to jump from 5 feet to 10 feet. So your dolphin jumps 5 feet, he jumps 5 feet, he jumps 5 feet. Then one time he jumps 10 feet. Do you throw a fish at his head to tell him that's exactly what you wanted?
No.
How do you guys communicate to that animal that that exact behavior is going to give him a reward? The click or the bridge, that's right. So with dolphin trainers, they actually use a whistle. So when that dolphin performs that desired behavior, they whistle to let that dolphin know it's not necessarily right or wrong, but what that means is food. So if you do that kind of jump again, what you're going to get is probably food. What you get after that jump is also food. So does everybody feel like they kind of understand the bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to move on to one other thing. A target. So a target essentially is one of the first things you train with your animals in captivity. And a target is basically asking them to put a piece of their body onto whatever your target is. So it could be their nose, could be their tail, it could be their paw. Why do you think we might use a target? All right, how about I direct you? What if we're working with lions? Why might you want a target?
So they won't see you.
To keep them away from yourself? Exactly. So if a lion has its mouth over here, is its mouth near me?
No.
No, exactly. So we call that training what's called an incompatible behavior. So if a lion is targeting, that behavior is incompatible with turning around and biting me. So we do it that way. We also use a target to get animals to move from place to place. Just like I'm sure you guys wouldn't want to be picked up and moved everywhere you had to go. We use these targets to give animals the choice to be able to move where they want. So you guys pretty much understand targeting and bridging. Who wants to train an animal?
I do.
I do.
A couple of you guys do? All right, I'm going to take you right there. What's your name? Kara. So Kara, you're going to be our first trainer. Kara, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little handful of food. And I'm going to give you a target stick. And we're going to work with one of the first, most basic behaviors we have, which is targeting. So when this animal comes out of its cage, you're going to hold out the target stick. This is also a visual cue, which essentially means once they see it, they know they have to go to it. They're going to run over and touch this ball with their mouth. What do you do when they do that? You could give them food, but how do they know exactly that that's the behavior? Click, exactly. So you bridge for touching, and then just give them a little bit of the food in your hand and put it into the bowl. Now you want to watch out because some things can definitely happen when you're using a clicker. You can train a couple of things. Like for instance, what if the animal comes out and their mouth is right here, but you bridge? What did you just tell them?
That's what you mean.
Yeah, you'll get food for that as well. So do you think that that means that next time they might not go all the way to the ball? Possibly. You can also do things called training superstitious behaviors, which we'll get into when we're training a little bit later. I want you guys to think of those things. And last but not least, what you do after the animal has targeted is you put the target behind your back. Why would you do that?
So they're focused on something else.
Exactly. So they're focused on something else so that you're not constantly cueing them. So if you have the cue out and ready, they might still want to cue, and that's on you as a trainer to be able to interpret. All right. So she's going to run between you and me. We're going to give her a second to come out, get situated. Good job. Good bridging. Perfect job putting that behind your back. So now you can try something a little bit more intense. So you can try getting her to target a couple of times and bridge her for those. Good job. And we'll try, how about one more back and forth? And we'll give somebody else a try. So hold your target out. There you go.
Yep.
Great. All the way. All right. Does anybody else want to give it a try?
Okay.
Nobody else?
Okay.
You want to give it a try?
Sure.
All right. So what we're going to have you do is trade off. And you did an excellent job bringing the ring. So how about a round of applause for our volunteer?
It's still going.
Oh, so she has some food in there already. So here, I'm going to give you a little bit. And then I'm going to take this as well. All right, and we're just going to do a quick... I guarantee I did not bring a panda. So you got your target ready? To give her that bridge because that's exactly what she did correctly. All right. Let her go to you one more time, and then we'll try training a little bit more dangerous. Great job. Just going to clean up the ground for us. You want a crate? All right, so you guys both did an excellent job. Do you guys think you pretty much understand the bridge and the target? Yes? All right, so who would like to train a more dangerous animal? Me. All right, we'll take you in the back in the red, and we need another buddy with her. Fortunately, you've already been able to go right there.
I can get you
What are
him
you
with
guys'
all
names?
I'm Desiree.
Desiree and Rebecca. Okay. So,
Yeah.
there are a couple of things I want to talk about with Desiree and Rebecca. Number one.
Okay.
Did anybody have time to think about what they thought a superstitious behavior was?
No.
Making the animal think.
This is going to be really important for our next animal. It's making the animal think. So let's say you wanted me to come to this spot right here. But you bridged me for going over here. You guys think I would go over here instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's called essentially training a superstitious behavior. So if you bridge an animal incorrectly for doing something, they could think, rightly so, that that's the behavior that you want them to perform. So you always want to be really careful with your bridging to make sure that you're bridging correctly. Now, which one of you guys wants to be the trainer?
Pick one.
Okay, I will.
Okay, you're the trainer, Desiree, and what was your name again?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, you're going to be the animal. So we are definitely the most dangerous animals in this room. They influence everything around us. And what we're going to do is we're going to have Desiree shape a behavior for you, Rebecca. So the way you shape a behavior, when you guys want your dog to sit, do you just sit there and wait until they sit and reward them? That might be one way to train them. But what we like to do is shape behaviors. So what you use is small approximations. So if I wanted Rebecca to go from here to here, I might bridge her here, and bridge her here, and bridge her here, so that she knew that this is the eventual spot I want her to be in. So we're going to ask you to do a behavior, Rebecca, probably in a specific place, and we're going to ask you to perform it. You're not going to get to know exactly what it is. We're going to send you outside. It can be anything from spinning around in a circle to, hopping on one foot. There are a lot of things that we could ask, so we'll send you outside.
Go, Rebecca.
Is she a dangerous animal?
She is. Oh. All right. So, what
She's a
behavior do you want
man-eater.
Rebecca to perform? Make her break dance. Does she know how to break dance? Okay, let's think of something that's within her species history. So, for instance, I wouldn't ask that duck to paint a picture with its wings. That's not natural to its species. So if Rebecca doesn't know how to break dance, we're not going to ask her how to break dance. What's something, we'll start off with something simple. What
How
do you
about
guys,
skipping?
skipping?
Belly fishing.
I don't know.
Skipping might be a little bit difficult. Anybody else? The chicken dance. Where was that? Who said the chicken dance? Okay, how about, and it's funny because the last class did the same thing. How about we just ask her to do chicken wings? The chicken dance might be pretty long and we'll be here for a while. So let's ask her to do chicken wings, and where do you want her to do it?
In the middle of the floor.
In the middle of the floor. All right.
Actually, no, I want her to stand up on the table and do it.
Standing up on the table, is that okay?
If that's fine.
Okay, how about then you have to train one behavior at a time. So you're going to have to decide whether you want her to do the chicken dance or stand up on the table. Because if you try to train both at once, it's going to become a little bit confusing, right? So which do you want her to do?
Let's have her do the chicken.
Chicken dance? All right, let's have her do the chicken. Well, let's have her just do chicken wings.
How do I tell her to do
Just
that?
click right there, so push it down. There you go. So you're going to have to shape that behavior. You're going to have to shape
go
her.
like that?
You can't show her.
Oh.
So you have to wait until she does something. So if she gets here and she's like, bridge that, because that's her arms in the air, right? So she needs to figure out from your bridges where she needs to have her body. All right, Rebecca, you ready?
This is going to be fun.
So as an animal that's kind of been conditioned already to clicker training, we don't have to introduce the clicker to you. You're also naturally curious, so you will try things.
Like walking.
That's like click it when she's like right? Or
So use your shaping approximations, yep.
how do you do that again?
So you would bridge her.
What's that?
In the middle of the
Bridge. There you go. Okay. So you bridge her for the little things that you want to see that will end up being the behavior that you want.
All right.
That's okay. Just try things. So there was an opportunity for bridging
I
there.
saw that one.
Okay,
yeah.
good. opportunities are there as
That'd
well.
be nice.
That was a good bridge. It's okay, try things. Try anything. There's a fun game in training that we call Show Me, and we ask the animal to show us anything we haven't seen before. That's okay, that's okay. Do you want to give up?
Yeah.
All right, so what did you think we wanted you to do?
Do tricks. Like what?
What kind of
Where
trick?
did you? In the middle of the room.
What kind of
So
trick?
that's great. We did want you in the middle of the room. That's the most important thing. The next thing that we wanted you to do was actually flap your wings like a chicken. So Desiree did a great job bridging you once when she jumped, her hands went up in the air, hoping to catch that bridge. Also, when she bridged, when she jumped, what could she have reinforced? Jumping. So that could have also been training in superstitious behavior. So you really have to watch that. That's touch and go. But they both did a good job. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want you to take 2 more volunteers because I want to see a completed behavior. 2 more volunteers to be trained and trained.
Those two.
Well, I have 2 right there. All right, you 2. Which one of you guys wants to be the animal? Which one of you wants to be the trainer? Animal and trainer. All right, what's your name? Devin and Andrew. Okay, Devin, we're going to send you outside.
I want to record a vision.
All right, so
Sounds
what
like
do
it
we
says
want
mama.
Devin to do? He should what? Walk in a zigzag? So like walk from here to here? To here? Okay. We're going to skip the backflip. So we're going to have him walk in a zigzag. That might be a little bit complicated. So what we're going to have him do is actually, let's kind of shape that. So we're going to have him touch every single one of the tables in the room. Does that sound good? Kind of get you to a zigzag pattern. So how about we have him touch every, well, that can also be super confusing for him. Touch the first 2 tables back and forth. I like that. That's a good compromise. So touch each table back and forth. Oh, that's a great bridge. So you all, don't be afraid to bridge where he's looking.
Look. I gotta look. I'm gonna have to lay down, do I? I will.
So after a while, if you're not giving your animal any feedback, do you think your animal would get a little frustrated?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Can we tell him, like,
You can't communicate with an animal, so.
I don't speak English.
Here, boy.
So what did he just bridge you for doing?
I have no idea.
So that's another great thing about training is you want to make sure that all of your distractions are completely minimized.
No.
All Why don't you try moving around? Animals would do that.
Oh. I think I have to say it's fun.
Oh.
So what behavior is he reinforcing right now? Did you hear him say, I think I have to stay in this spot? And then he just bridged him for coming back to the exact same spot. Is that the behavior that we want to see?
No.
No. So that's called bridging a superstitious behavior, right? I understand you are on the right track, but you also have to watch those touch and goes. Because if you tell an animal, right, that's right, just be careful what you're saying. So if he take a couple of steps forward, bridge.
Close to you.
Take one more step. Bridge. So we're going to end this session because I want you guys to see our last animal. But you guys did do a good job. So what he wanted you to do was go back and forth between the tables.
Oh.
And although he was bridging you for standing next to the table, did he understand that he was supposed to be touching the table? No, right? So what you can do when you're bridging in those certain situations is get them out of that superstitious behavior. So any little movement that they make away from the superstitious behavior, you can bridge that to get them on the path to thinking again and going in the right direction. So you guys did a great job. How about a round of applause for that? So now we're going to train the second most dangerous animal in the room.
She does not bring out those snakes, so we just
And this is at 9:40?
No, 9:35.
It's 9:35. All right, great. 10 minutes. So the last animal we are going to meet is incredibly smart. Some people say they're as smart as 2-year-old children. They're also incredibly fun to train, although they can be a little bit difficult to have in captivity. You guys might recognize them when I bring them out. You just want to be nice and quiet and respectful. We are going to have him perform a kind of complex behavior for you. Hi. So this is a macaw. His name's Pele. He's actually a rescued pet. So we often say that macaws don't make the best pets. Like I said earlier, they're as smart as 2-year-old children, and they can live to be about 75 years old. So if you guys imagine that, it's like having a 2-year-old for 75 years. They're also a really social species. They live in flocks in the wild. At the zoo, it takes about 9 of us to give him as much attention as he needs. So I'm going to show you one behavior that we've asked him to perform that helps stimulate his laughing activity. Okay. Put it back. Good job. So are parrots normally painting in the wild?
No.
No. Why would we ask him put it back, to paint in captivity? That's not a normal behavior.
It's cool.
Because it's cool, it's stimulating. That's something we call novel enrichment. Keep him interested. Put it back. Yeah, to keep him interested, put it back. Put it back. So to keep him interested, we also, it's actually based on a natural behavior. Although it might not look very natural, it's based on something they do in the wild. So what do parrots eat in the wild? Fruit, exactly. How many of you have ever eaten a piece of fruit that is not ripe? That's like really hard? Yeah, that happens to parrots too. So in order to get the fruit off the branch, put it back. They have to actually rip their heads back and forth, moving that fruit off the branch. We've actually captured that same behavior here Instead of moving his head back and forth to get fruit, we're asking him to move his head to paint. And I want him to paint right there. Put it back. So that's not only stimulating for him, but it also gets him to perform a natural behavior that he would naturally do in the wild. So besides his glorious painting, this one did not turn out super great because of the brush I asked him to use. We do ask him to perform a lot of other activities to help us with his husbandry. So this is one that's pretty easy. Go and step up. Good boy. So asking him to step up on my hand, good boy, is something that we definitely had to train. Being a rescued pet, these guys can discriminate against different people that they don't know. So it's a long process, and you have to ask them to do something with a lot of trust. But from a husbandry perspective, what would we ask him to show us voluntarily that we might need to check?
His wings.
Wings, okay. Wings? No. Wings?
Feet.
Good boy. So why do you think that might be important?
So you can check if it's injured.
So we can look at his wings. Do you think he would really like it if we kind of held him down and pulled out his wings to check them?
No.
No, but do we need to check his feathers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's part of keeping him in captivity nice and healthy. We need to check his feather condition. What else might we need to check? What?
His mouth.
His mouth. Can you give me a kiss? So what do you think? We did get to, or you guys might not see it from that side. Can you give me a kiss? What do we see when we ask him to do that? His tongue, exactly. So we can check the condition of his tongue, make sure his tongue is okay. What else might we need to check? His feet. Can you wait? Good boy. So, checking his feet, birds in captivity can actually suffer from a really dangerous disease with a really silly name. It's called Bumblefoot. But it means it's a disease that will go in through the pads of their feet and actually affect all of their inner organs. So we need to be able to check for that as well. Now, besides those things, we do ask him to do the same thing as Storm. Can you target? Good boy. Why might we need him to do that?
To fly from one place to another.
Maybe to fly from one place to another. Great. Like we moved Storm, we could use the target as a cue. What if I told you that his beak is strong enough to snap my fingers in half?
Oh my.
Because it is. Why do you think we might need him to target?
To get the beak away.
In case he wants to hurt us, or to keep his beak away from us when we're training brand new behaviors. So, for instance, if we want to do a nail trim on him and we have the clippers, do you think we want his beak right by his feet? No. So we ask him to target to do those specific behaviors that'll really help us out in husbandry. So now that you guys have learned a little bit about the training we do at the zoo, and you've gotten to do some of the training, I hope you guys use it in your everyday lives. It's really easy to use positive reinforcement. There are a lot of studies out there that say it's better than negative reinforcement, better than punishment at getting the desired behavior that you want. You can use it every day on your little brothers and sisters if they're doing something you don't want them to do, or if they do something you do want them to do, like take out the trash. Think of positively reinforcing them with something, like a verbal, great job, or maybe even some time with you. That would be really helpful, and it'll probably increase the frequency of that behavior happening again. So we are done here, but I'll take any questions you guys have about Pele before I put him away. Yeah, Rebecca.
Can he talk like
Can you talk? That's what we've trained him to do. He can mimic us. He mimics my voice. He mimics a lot of our other staff's voices. He says words all the time. We don't have him do that in public. Why do you guys think we wouldn't have him talk in public? What's that? Because some people might not be comfortable with it? Oh, he's actually pretty comfortable mimicking. He'll mimic a lot. But if I take this bird to a school full of little children, and they see him talking away, do you guys think they might want to get him as a pet?
Yeah.
That's right. So a lot of the reason why these birds are going extinct endangered in the wild is because of the exotic pet trade. or the illegal pet trade. About, for every one bird that makes it over, about 10 others don't.
Oh.
So it's something that's pretty dangerous to them. We definitely don't encourage them as pets, and that's why we have him do his natural parrot talk instead of the mimicry that they're definitely capable of doing. Anybody else? Yeah.
I just am curious, what was the other animal? Like, you said there was 3.
Yes, we had the kinkajou, the duck, and the parrot. No? Oh, okay. Yes.
Oh, you were talking about how if someone's not doing something, you want them to do, still use positive reinforcement. How would that go about doing?
So if when our animals don't do things that we want them to do, or when they don't do things that we don't want them to do, when our animals are not performing behaviors correctly, what we do is essentially ignore it. So I know it might not be easy to ignore your little brother or sister poking at you all the time, but with these guys, they really have to trust us. And do you think that they would trust us if we use punishment? Probably not as much. They have to trust me to take them in front of a group full of strangers and know they'll be safe. So if he doesn't perform the behavior I want him to do, I just ignore it, or I give him a break and a reset. A reset essentially means that I put him back in whatever enclosure he's in and give him a break. And wait and come back and try to perform the behavior later, when he might be more motivated.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put Pele away. And let you guys